Happy World Stationery Day, guys. It's Wednesday, it's National Stationery Week, super excited. Today's video is a little bit different. I'm going to be answering 5 of the most commonly asked questions that I get through my social media channels, so through Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of a demo, so it's not going to be a spread setup, it's going to be a little bit bitty. Hopefully you'll like it. If you have any further questions, pop them in the description, in the comments below, and I can make follow-up videos that cover more questions. But yeah, top 5 questions. Number 1 question that gets asked most frequently is, what pens do I use with my stencils? I am a massive fan of the Staedtler pigment liners. I have this box here, I'm going to show you, which is a set of 6 of different tip thicknesses, and my go-to is the 0.3, or you can see it, the 0.3 tip. I use that one, and I end up using that one most frequently, and it runs out, so I need to actually buy a pack of just these, because buying this whole set when I often have the other tips left over. I do use the others depending on what I'm using for, so for finer work, small fonts, that kind of thing, I use the 0.1, and if you want something really thick that's going to show up on the page, 0.5 or 0.8, but 0.3 is my go-to. So that's answer to question number 1. Question number 2 is how to use the banner stencils and make them look good. Now this is a question I get asked tons, and I have done a little a spread before where I've shown you guys, but it wasn't a live spread, so I'm going to show you. So if I turn to the page, I've got my index now. This is so full, I need to give myself a new one. So this is the stencil that has all the banners on. But a lot of our stencils have banners at the top, and what you'll find is if you just trace them as is, which one should we do? Do this one. What you get is a banner that looks kind of weird and segregated. Let me show you. Ooh. So if you trace the banner as is, this is what you get. Let's zoom in. We always go the wrong way. So that's what you get. A banner that doesn't quite look like a banner. Now the way to get it to actually look like a banner, I leave it zoomed in, hopefully it will work. Trace the main body of the banner, which is this part, and then move that over so your kind of corner, see here, is lined up with the corner of what you've traced, like that. And then trace again. And the same over here. Line this corner here on the stencil up with this corner that you've traced. And then you'll end up with this, you'll see, that's looking much more banner-like. And then all you need to do is add in the downstroke. And you see how this banner here looks much more like a real banner than this jobby up here. And I really haven't done much different, but yeah, it basically makes it stand out a little bit more. Let's do a different example. I guess we could do... let's do the traditional banner. So this one here, it's difficult to go wrong with this. It's one of my absolute faves. I use it all the time. I stick a little drop shadow on using the mild liners. Let's go across. So far, so banner-like. What I like to do is then add in your string that the bunting is on. And I also add some stitching. already looking cuter. And then you can put your words in the middle. And what I tend to do, because I'm obsessed with the mild liners, is do a bit of a drop shadow using different colours. You could colour in the actual bunting, totally fine as well. I just find that the text doesn't pop as much if you do that. So these are my 5 favourite mild liners. Really cute banner, really quickly. What else? Let's do one more. I'll just show you the tracing again. So another type of banner, this one here. Instead of tracing, and I'll do it as if I were just tracing as is. That's what the stencil actually looks like. Instead of doing that, exactly the same as the one I showed you a second ago, move that up. So this edge here, the inside edge of that loop, sits on there. Ta-da! Much more banner-like. And again, this one will look cute if you added in some stitching along the edge of your banner. I think my video may be about to be crashed by Flora Bean. If it is, you'll excuse me while I remove her. There she is. Sorry, she's casting a shadow. So yeah, this banner versus this banner. Hopefully what you'll see there is that you can really easily make the banners pop and look a lot more banner-like rather than just tracing exactly what's on the stencil. So that's question number 2. How do you use your banner stencils? There she is. Hold on, I'm gonna have to move Freckle. Flora. Bye-bye. Okay, so question number 3 is stencil placement. So how do you center the stencil on the page or know exactly where to put it? And I guess this is something that I have to deal with quite a lot because the stencils aren't see-through because of the material that I use to make them. You can't see through the stencil. So depending on where you're wanting it placed, let's grab an example of a stencil. So if you want something central, I'll use this circle stencil, then I'd find the center dot on the page. Always use a pencil, top tip to placing things, and you can draw your center line if that helps. So if I were doing my circle stencil, you can line up the stencil. You won't be able to see it, but I can see that there's that pencil line. There. So that's your circle. I tend to try to do things in pencil first of all, just to know that you've got the placement right. I'm realising that you're not going to be able to see actually that on the... I'm changing to pen so that you can see it because it's a bit too light. So yeah, making a mark in pencil first to find your place, and that's exactly centered on the page then. Another thing, and it's when I use it loads, let's go to the social media stencil, is when I tend to use these little marks lots. So if I'm drawing my social media icons across the page and I want them evenly spaced, so say I was going to do, let's just do 3 for argument's sake, I would put dots where I want the centre of them to be. And I'm really guilty, I don't count, I often just eyeball it. I can then, if you see where this dot is here, let's zoom back in. See where that dot, that's where I want my Facebook icon. I place it so the dot is in the middle of what I'm drawing. So that's placed there, and then the next one is here. If you see that little dot, and I want the Instagram one to be there, place the dot in the middle-ish. You do have to wipe a little bit of the icon. And then I'm going to put Pinterest there, so that's in the middle. And this is actually a little extra tip. This one was designed, I need to slightly change it, before I'd kind of got my head around stencils, and the middle bit moves, as you can see, as I'm writing it. So I kind of just trace around it rather than leaning up against it. What I need to do is add a little tagline there, and I will change that. Every time I use it, I think I need to update that design. And then I completely forget and get to other things. So I will do that and make it a bit stronger. There you go. So a circle perfectly placed in the center of a page, and then those 3 icons placed evenly across the top. Yeah, my tip would be use pencil, put yourself a kind of guideline, and use dots so that you know where to place things. So that was question number 3, stencil placement. Question number 4 is, what are your quick wins with stencils for spread setup? So this is going to seem like an advert, but I promise you it isn't. My quick win for stencils and setting up spreads are the super easy stencils. So these were created different to kind of the A5 standard stencil. The point of this is that it's got lots of different elements of it that you can use to set up your spread in whichever way you want to. So completely flexibility, do whatever you like. The super easy stencils were designed to, I'm just going to zoom out, lay flat on a page, and you literally trace the whole stencil and you've got your daily spread. So a daily spread setup with this stencil would be as easy as, I think I've done videos of this before, tracing the whole thing. So this one is set up, and this one is so beaten up with stencil. I did think before, shall I change it for a new one so it looks nice on the video? But then I thought, nope, I'm going to keep it real. Show how often I actually use this stencil, which is really often. Basically, you trace out all the boxes. Follow the lines. What was that, like 2 minutes? And that's your daily spread setup. You add the date in the top, do the banner like I have there. This is your top 3 things to do for the day. This is your other things to do today. And then you've got meal planner, you've got, I don't know, gratitude, exercise, whatever you want to do. So yeah, super easy stencils would really be my best bang for your buck in terms of quick wins and how to set up a spread quickly. Okay, question number 5. Weekly spreads, how many different ways can you do them? This is a little bit of a how long is a piece of string question. What I've done is I basically took my last journal, which is this line one, and it's by Citrus Book Bindery, and I've gone through and I've just tagged how many different ways I set up daily spreads. This is not an exhaustive list. There are infinite amount of ways to set up your spreads. So first one, I've divided the page into blocks for the days, and then I've got my habits, my social media stats and my goals. Really straightforward spread, nice and easy. Slightly more elaborate in terms of design. I've done a similar one. It's got a row of 6 boxes across here, and it's a Pac-Man theme, but each section for a day. I've got hexagon spread, really popular in the spring, so we've got the summer bees and a bit of honeycomb. I've actually trimmed the side of the page just to add a bit of detail, and I've got a running to-do list on that side there, and I've popped my social media stats down the side, so just a slightly different take on the day. And then again, another type of to-do list, so I've got a sidebar, which has got my meal plan for the week, and then split up into the 5 days during the week and then your weekend for tasks and things to do, and then I've used the other sidebar for my social media stats. This one's a nice one. I've got kind of a bar across the top. There's a horizontal spread with what I'm doing each day, my master things to-do list for the week, social media stats and habits at the bottom. And then this is a variation, basically very similar to the last one, if you see, but I've just made these boxes slightly bigger. I'd planned to obviously write something in it and not got round to it. This looks like a spread that wasn't very well loved that week. And I have weeks like that where I don't refer to it very often, where I'm out and I'm busy, and other weeks where there's a lot more going on in there. The old classic Dutch jaw, which I'll link to a video on how I do the Dutch jaws, which has got your panel of kind of what's going on each day at the bottom, which was actually all cancelled because lockdown started that week. And yeah, adding in things to do, feelings, weather, all of those kind of things. And then something I've been doing a little bit more while we've been on lockdown has been my daily spreads, where it's a weekly spread made of dailies, if you see what I mean. So I started with my stats, and then each day actually had double page, so I could do more doodling. I've added recipes in, brainstorming. So yeah, a little bit different in terms of what I'm doing. This week I'm doing something similar, where I've got a page for each day, and then what I'm eating and how I'm moving at the bottom of the page. So I guess the answer to that question is infinite. For inspiration, you could check out the playlist for weekly spreads, which I'll tag at the top, or go on Pinterest and look at weekly spreads. There's so much inspiration, I guess, on the internet, social media, all sorts. It's been great going through some FAQs. Hopefully it's answered some of your questions. If you have more questions, please pop them in the comments below and I can do another FAQ video. And have a great World Stationery Day, and don't forget to check back tomorrow, there'll be another video. Take care.